Alright, Shalom. Let's start off with giving all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh Bashem Yahushai. Double honors to the Apostle Nelson Great Millstone. Peace and blessings to Yakim throughout the four winds, pushing his truth and sincerity, alright? It's a lesson, man, I'm going to speak on, and hopefully it's edifying to the elect, speaking to myself, because we basically need to be hard on ourselves, and the Spirit's going to keep us with that drive, and we should always have that drive, because when you think about it, man, that's why I named the video Doing the Works is Hard, and I put a question mark, you know what I'm saying? And like, what are we really sacrificing? Okay, we can say we're sacrificing our life, but it's not proven that we're going to die. You know what I'm saying? We know it's going to be some men that die. You know what I'm saying? It's going to taste death. Okay, we understand that. But we don't know who it is. Okay? You always have to be in that mind frame. But, the point of making this video was your sacrifice doesn't supersede Yahweh Shai's. Imagine how hard his sacrifice was. Okay? So that was the sarcasm. It's like, doing the works is hard, and he put sacrifice. So what are you really sacrificing? This is true sacrifice right here, what Yahweh Shai did. I'm going to get into it. This is Matthew 27. I'm just going to start. I'm just going to jump around or whatever. It says, then the soldiers of the governor took Yahweh Shai into the common hall and gathered into him the whole band of soldiers. And they stripped him and put on him a scarlet robe. So it was basically making mockery of him. Okay? It says, and when they had plaited a crown of thorns, they put it up on his head, and a reed in his right hand. They bowed the knee before him and mocked him, saying, Hail, King of the Jews. So they basically was making a mockery of him. Now, one thing you have here is public humiliation, public embarrassment. It would almost be like if somebody had you in this day and age, if somebody had you and everybody was watching the Super Bowl and they brought you out at halftime and done something that publicly embarrassed you, So this was public embarrassment. Like, everybody seen this. It says, and they spit upon him and took the reed and smote him on the head. So now it's getting physical. Okay? It says, and after that they had mocked him, they took the robe from him and put his own raiment on him and led him away to crucify him. And as they came out, they found a man of Cyrene, Simon by name. Him they compelled to bear his cross. And when they were come into the place called Golgotha, I don't know if I pronounced that right, Golgotha, that is to say, a place of a skull. They gave him vinegar to drink, mingled with gall, and when he had tasted thereof, he would not drink. Okay, because that's supposed to somewhat ease the pain, I'm guessing. And so this is a lot of humiliation. This is a lot of shame. Okay, so we can't say nothing about sacrifice. Like, there really should be no excuse. For you even to be able to have an excuse, Yahweh Shai had to die. Okay? It says, and they crucified him and parted his garments, casting lots that it might be fulfilled, which was spoken by the prophet. They parted my garments among them, and among my vesture did they cast lots. So they putting bids on his clothes. And sitting down, they watched him there, and set over his head his accusation written, "This is Yahushua, the King of the Jews." And they that passed by reviled him, wagging their heads. So he's seeing all these people, and mere words will not bring justice to this. You know what I'm saying? It's like it's not gonna do it. Nothing, you know what I'm saying, major, because you can only imagine it in your head. But just imagine being there, and imagine who they're doing this to. Okay? So they was looking at him, shaking their heads like that's public embarrassment. It says, and saying, "Thou that destroyeth the temple and buildest it in 3 days, save thyself. If thou be the Son of the Most High, come down from the cross. He saved others, himself he cannot save. If he be the King of Israel, let him now come down from the cross, and we will believe him." So now they're mocking him. Now we know Yahushua could have done this, but that would have not have fulfilled his mission, his MO. Okay? The objective of him doing that is so that we, through the Spirit, will have an opportunity and a chance to basically receive that hope. Okay? And this is to Israelites. All right? It says, Yahushua, when he had cried again with a loud voice, yielded up the ghost. All right? So now, and I'm pretty sure that the scriptures, the scriptures didn't give the full, all the things that took place that happened to him. Okay? Because you can only write so much, but you can get you can't get candid like being there, you know, when you say something. So being there would have been way different. You know, you getting beat, spit on, speared in the side. Like, it's just a lot of things. And the crazy part about it is, us in everyday life can say something like, we're tired. Okay, I can't read today because I'm tired. And when you put this in perspective, what are you really sacrificing? A little time? You know what I'm saying? You sacrificing moments that you're doing something else that really doesn't need to be done. But Yahushua died. You know what I'm saying? He was beaten, shamed, and embarrassed for us to even have an opportunity and a chance. Because of him, you can actually say, I'm too tired to do a video. Because you have that opportunity to. Okay? So I think, like, if it's reading or if it's just doing things brotherly, the thing is, he died for all these things, and it's like we somewhat take it for granted doing the works, you know? Because it's a lot of people, man, that really, you think about everybody in this world we live in, everybody on this planet, the main thing people seek for is salvation. And everybody truly believes in their heart and minds that when they say Jesus died on the cross, that means they have a part of that. They really believe they have a part of this. But we know that this is false. And we have what's really collected from his death, burial, and resurrection. We have what really comes from that. And we know this. So it should mean a lot more to us, because if you go to some of these churches, these people hooping and hollering because they really believe that they going to impart in salvation. Okay, if we know they're false and we're real through the Spirit and they're being deceived, how should we be conducting ourselves when it comes to doing the work? You know, it says, and behold, the veil of the temple was rent in twain from the top to the bottom, and the earth did quake, and the rocks rent. Okay, it says, and the graves were open. The graves were open. And many bodies of the saints which slept arose. Now we're getting spiritual with it. When he died, now we're having a spiritual awakening here. Okay? It says, and came out of the graves after his resurrection. Okay? Dry bones living now. And went into the holy city and appeared unto many. Now, by him doing that, we have the great awakening. Okay? This is Isaiah 53. I'm going to start at 3. It says, he is despised and rejected of men, a man of sorrows and acquainted with grief. And we hid, as it were, ourselves from our faces from him. He was despised, and we esteemed him not. Surely he hath borne our griefs. Okay? He took on the same role that he knew we were going to take on before we had to take on it. That's why I said, out of those and the graves were open, and many bodies of the saints which slept arose. Because when they were awoken or awake through him dying, the table and the blueprint had been set. Okay? That's why his spirit is on us, because we may have to go through those same persecutions, some more than others. All right? But it says, surely hath he borne our griefs and carried our sorrows. So all the things today that you pout about, it brings you down, like just everyday things being in this captivity, he's felt that. Okay? He felt that. And that same spirit, when it was buried and resurrected, that same spirit, like the dove, I think that was in the book of Acts, the 2nd chapter, like the dove came down, and it also is when he was baptized. It's like that light came, okay, and 3,000 men were raised, but it's the same thing. Okay, when that spirit comes upon us and we're awake now, that's the light. So we get it now. That same spirit that was on him. Okay, it says, he carried away our sorrows, yet did esteem him stricken, smitten of the Most High, and afflicted. We feel some of these same things today because that spirit is on us. Okay, it says, but he was wounded for our transgressions. Now you're going to feel those things, but we don't have to die for, like, sacrifice animals now, basically, to have our sins forgiven. And not all Israel are going to have their sins forgiven on this side. Okay, some are going to have to face misery and death by pain. But his elect men that he chose, that rose up in the resurrection, he basically interceded for those men because he knew he had to do that so the whole nation would get it back as a whole. Okay? It says, he was bruised for our iniquities, the chastisement of our peace was upon him. So that's how we're going to see peace. He carried all these things on his shoulders, you know. That's true sacrifice. We're not sacrificing nothing here. You know, we're really not sacrificing nothing. That's why it should be nothing to get up and read. It should be nothing to get up and make a video. You know, it should really be nothing. Okay, when you put in your mind that our King, Yahweh Shai, had to die, be beaten for you to even say, I'm too tired to put up a video today. I'm too tired to do the works. Brother want to run some scriptures. I'm too tired for that today. You know what I'm saying? That shouldn't be in your mind. All right? It says, and his stripes, and with his stripes, we are healed. Why? Because we were sick. We were sick. The whole head was sick. Okay? But through him getting lashes, beaten, taking that punishment, he slid basically in the slot for us to get it back again. That's beautiful, man. It says, all we like sheep have gone astray. We have turned everyone to his own way, and the Lord hath laid on him the iniquity of us all. Now that's Israel. Didn't they crown him King of Jews? Okay. So it's crazy how excuses can be made on videos, doing anything pertaining to Yahweh Shem Yahushua. But I lost my train of thought. It says, yeah, his stripes were healed, but he was basically beaten. Okay? So he basically he jumped in, took the place of us not being able to have no salvation and no hope. That couldn't have been the way that the story ended. So that's when he stepped in and was like, I got to step in and do this will so Israel could get back to ruling this earth righteously. Okay? It says he was oppressed and he was afflicted, yet he opened not his mouth. Didn't complain about it. This has to be done. Okay? This has to be done. So by this having to be done, what I need to talk about? What needs to be talked about? What needs to be said? All right? It says, he is brought as a lamb to the slaughter. That same spirit is on us because we're not carnal men. And as a sheep before her shearer is dumb, so he opened not his mouth. So he's basically to be slaughtered. To basically be slaughtered. Sacrifice. Okay? We have to sacrifice our time when we don't feel like, I don't feel like reading today. Hey, that's a sacrifice. Because you don't feel like doing it, that's when the big blessings, you know what I'm saying? That's when the Lord really blesses you. Okay? When you make that sacrifice, when you go that extra mile, you know what I'm saying? We can get so caught up in everyday life and things on this side, man, that where it's like you'll catch yourself giving the Lord the ass end of your of things you do throughout the day, you know. You know, it's understood, like on this side you have jobs and all that, but sometimes some things, lamps have to be trimmed, bro. Sometimes lamps have to be trimmed. You know what I'm saying? Because we serve a jealous power. All right? He's understanding. He's most gracious and merciful, but you still have to do and move and conduct yourself as a man of the Lord. All right? Sometimes a job isn't good for you. Sometimes a relationship with a woman isn't good for you. Because that steps into the role of what you're supposed to be doing. And this is our main occupation right here. Nothing supersedes salvation. Because we know all these things are vanity. All right? This is 1 Peter 2:21. It says, For even hereunto were ye called, because Hamashiach also suffered for us. So to have an opportunity to be called the man of Yahweh Shem Yahushua, he had to die. He had to sacrifice himself. Okay? Because Salaki says, leaving us an example. Leaving us an example. Leaving us an example. Okay? The scriptures show that, but that same spirit is on us on how to be. All right? Many people talk the game of being an Israelite, but do they walk it? Do they make those sacrifices? Many people talk a good game, but when it comes down to the actions, don't happen. It says that ye should follow his steps. He sacrificed his life. Okay? So it wasn't just talk. It wasn't just words. His life was sacrificed to have an opportunity to do the things that we do. And you have to take advantage of the time you have, or of the time we have, and do likewise. It says, who did no sin, neither was guile found in his mouth. So he spoke nothing outside of the scriptures. Okay? He didn't sin. Perfect walk. Okay? So if he perfect walked and he kept the laws perfectly, that was a perfect sacrifice. Okay? And that's what we should be putting off, or striving to put off, perfect sacrifice. Because we have the example. The spirit jump on you to do a video, that's what should be done. Spirit jump on you to read, that's what should be done. And so on and so forth in the spirit. Okay? It says, who, when he was reviled not again. When he suffered, he threatened not, but committed himself to him that judgeth righteously. Okay? And we're going to see that judgment play out. Because did Yahushua deserve to die? Hell no. If he lived the perfect life, he walked perfectly and didn't break the laws. But the things he done, and it shows you that for a reason. When he suffered, he threatened not. Okay? But committed himself to him that judges righteously. Who his own self bare our sins. He basically died for us fucking up. Before this spirit came upon us, he had already paid the price, because he knew the time was going to come to where we would have that door of repentance. Okay? He already paid that cost. He knew the spirit was going to come down and this year wake this brother up. This year wake that brother up. And next thing you know, you have a whole nation that knows who they are now. Okay? But this sacrifice had to happen first. All right? I'm going to restart.